make a move in the ring. You can hit me with a word you fling.
How's it going, everybody? It's Nicholas Atkin on the South China Morning Post in Hong Kong, scmp.com/MMA. This is Post Fight. Tonight, I've got a very special guest. He's the CEO of the Professional Fighters League. This is Peter Murray. Peter, how's everything going over in New York?
Oh, good morning, Nicholas, or I should say it's nighttime wherever you are. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine, Peter. Well, we wanted to talk to you today because I've been told you guys will be launching a very special new OTT platform with the PFL. Can you just tell me a little bit about the new platform and what you're going to be bringing to the fans of the PFL?
Oh, absolutely. We're really excited. I believe next week we launch our first ever OTT app. The PFL, we've established, we're a global leader in the sport, essentially the number 2 in a short amount of time after 2 seasons successfully under our belts. And now that we've established the format and our live event model, we're really evolving into a year-round content and media company. And with that, part of our plan is to go direct to consumers with the PFL archive, full fights, ancillary programming, exclusive content and footage that our fans have yet to see. It's a global platform. And OTT really provides an opportunity not only to give fans an immersive experience, but it's also a personalized experience. And from a business point of view, as a media company, OTT in sports represents $100 billion based on the fans and that consumer spend today, and it's growing. Mobile consumption, live and ancillary, will absolutely surpass in the coming years sports content consumed. It will overtake linear television. And so from a global perspective, as a content company, there's a role for linear, there's a role for digital and OTT. But as we look at the trends, this is where you need to be as a premium sports entity. And we're excited about it.
How do you compete with something like UFC Fight Pass then, if that is maybe the benchmark of the OTT platform in combat sports, or do you want to give something different?
Yeah, our view on the sport is there's more demand to consume live premium quality content and ancillary programming than one leading organization can provide. And so for us, it really goes back to the consumer, it goes back to the fan. They have demand for it. There's momentum behind the PFL, and our model is free. So we'll provide fans free, exclusive access. It will be ad and sponsor supported along with micro transactions. But the way we see the landscape in MMA, there's so much demand and so much upside, in particular outside the United States. Our business is rapidly growing, and the interest in the PFL outside the US. And this platform will provide us the opportunity to go direct to consumers and engage one-on-one and provide those custom experiences.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a little bit about that because you brought in Lauren Mack from One Championship. He was an executive there, an Asian martial arts promotion. Is that in mind to maybe expand a bit into Asia, or what plans do you have? Is it more than Asia? Are you going to go all around the world, or are you looking to which areas would you like to take the PFL into?
Sure. Our focus, today we're distributed with our worldwide leader in sports in the US from a distribution standpoint. We're on ESPN, both linear as well as digital, and their OTT platform, ESPN Plus, and it's a fantastic relationship. And once again, the PFL app now gives us the opportunity to really expand reach outside the US. But today, our live events in the last 2 seasons have been distributed to 160 countries. We've been focused on quality distribution and reach. The PFL live events are distributed from the top sports media networks and companies in the regions where we are in countries where we are distributed. We have over 30 media distribution partnerships that give us coverage to 160 countries. And now you overlay OTT, it's just an opportunity to engage with fans year round. Again, beyond our regular season and our playoff and championship live events, there's demand for the rich stories across our fighter base, the history of the sport, our history, and then as we look ahead to stage new events, they'll be integrated into this platform outside the U.S.
You held a qualifier event, I think, in Russia in conjunction with Russian Cage Fighting Championship. Is that correct? And that was going to be a qualifier for the 2020 season, which ultimately was cancelled. Are there plans to hold more events outside of the US, more qualifying events?
Absolutely. And it was a very difficult decision to reschedule the season. But as we looked at the landscape at the time, which was in March, it was very clear to us that number one, with fighters from over 25 countries around the world and all those logistics, safety was paramount. So it really guided our decision-making, safety of the fighters and obviously the event staff. And then number two, it would have been impossible to execute our true sports season format where we have a regular season, a playoff, and a championship. And it essentially takes 8 months to execute. And so, I feel very good about that decision based on what we're seeing transpiring around the world today, how COVID's affecting society, all businesses, obviously sports not insulated. And we're an advocate to bring sports back and do it safely. But from where we sit, it was the right decision. And we're looking forward to launching our third official season in the spring of 2021. We already have our broadcast deals domestically here in the U.S. Executed along with our international broadcast partnerships. And then once again, we'll add OTT to the mix. So we feel good about that decision. And we're not a one-off event company. So, that was the reason why we did reschedule. And then, Nick, to answer your question with respect to other international extensions of the PFL, we will absolutely be launching international qualifiers in Russia, throughout Europe. We're exploring opportunities in Asia, in fact, in China. And then beyond that, we will be expanding our focus on the ground with respect to PFL-driven live events. That's something you'll be hearing more about next year, but we're excited about international expansion and growth. You had
the season cancelled. There was, I believe, a 2-year broadcast deal with ESPN. Was there any issue there? What happened with the deal? Did they say, "Oh, we'll give you another year"? Did you have to renegotiate, or were there any issues getting that third season with ESPN?
No, not at all. ESPN's a great partner. Our partnership runs through 2021, and there's an opportunity we expect to be with ESPN longer term. But they're a great partner. Been very supportive of our decision of the league overall. And with that, although we did reschedule, there's a demand for PFL content, as I mentioned earlier. We launched PFL Studios, which is our content arm at the Professional Fighters League, where we're focused on creating and distributing compelling long-form programming for linear as well as digital, and then short-form programming with a real emphasis on digital and social. I have a great team, and ESPN is a partner, greenlit 4 original episodic series that we will begin distributing and airing later this month and throughout the rest of the year. And that content will also be made available and distributed on our broadcast partners internationally. So the 4 series we have is the PFL Fantastic Finishes, Inside the Season, which takes you through the different arcs and what it takes to compete in what we believe is the toughest competition in league in all of MMA around the world, where over 7 to 8 months, fighters actually have to fight 5 times to get to the championship and through the championship, which is unprecedented. And then all the drama of fighting twice in one night during the playoffs to get in a bracketed system, and then a big time payout of $1 million for each champion in the 6 weight classes. So we tell that story from the fighter's point of view, from the league's point of view. We go behind the scenes. I was really inspired by a lot of content that I produced when I was at the National Football League and NFL Films. And then our other series is we're really privileged to tell Randy Couture's story. So PFL presents. It's Randy Couture is this sport's in many ways Michael Jordan, and we go really deep on Randy's life, his history, how he got into the sport, how the sport and his journey, and then how the sport has evolved, where it is today and where it's headed. Randy's PFL broadcast, a broadcaster, as well as a spokesperson for the league. So we're very privileged to tell his story.
I'll look forward to watching it.
Yeah.
Could you tell me when the new season starts? Do you have a preliminary date set? Is there an issue with possibly Las Vegas maybe getting shut down again because of the coronavirus pandemic?
Yeah, so we're very certain we'll execute next season. Our third official season will launch in the spring of 2021. We're working through the schedule right now with ESPN, so that's number one. Expect the PFL next spring, and then number two, with respect to how we're going to manage and navigate it should the COVID pandemic protract into next spring. We will be focused on, like many other sports, as well as organizations within MMA, on a made-for-TV model. So ensuring that we can manage it in our own bubble, and we'll have all the necessary precautions and parameters put in place to keep fighters safe, keep all of their teams safe, as well as obviously the event staff. And then here's what we know today. You need backup plans for your plan A, and you need a backup plan from your plan B. So we have those in place, and we're excited to get back into the cage and into fighting action. And but in the meantime, we're really focused on continuing to build the brand, grow awareness and engagement around the world, and leading with compelling content, and also building muscle like our OTT platform to go direct to consumers. I mean, there are over 400 million fans around the world, and they are absolutely underserved. They're demanding more content. They want more content at their fingertips. And with the new PFL app, we have the ability to do that and continue to innovate.
Yeah, and you mentioned your time with NFL Films. You've got a pretty fun resume, don't you? You're also the vice president of sports marketing at Under Armour as well. Just what skills do you bring? How do you use your past jobs? How do you bring that to the PFL?
Yeah, no different than a fighter's journey. I mean, a career is a journey as well that you curate and develop and build different muscles and experiences to prepare you for that next fight or next challenge and or opportunity. And so I do feel in this role, we launched the PFL in 2018. I was attached since fourth quarter 2017. I left Under Armour to take on this role. But everything that I've touched leading, really led me to this opportunity to build the PFL from the ground up. And, our thesis is really simple. There's more room for more than one leader in this sport, with 400 million fans around the world, young, diverse, coming from the digital age. And so you don't get this type of opportunity. And we've had a lot of success, a lot of continued momentum. And I'm very fortunate to do it with a world-class ownership group, media titans, titans for media, sports, technology. And we've also assembled a dream team on the leadership team of the Professional Fighters League. We brought, Lauren Mack on most recently to strengthen our bench in marketing, in PR and comms with his international experience, which is real priority for us as we expand the PFL's business. But we also, on the content side, have George Greenberg. George Greenberg was the executive producer at Fox Sports for 20 years, 17 Emmy Awards. He's produced every major sport, championship, major event, and has a big resume in MMA. And now we've given George really a whiteboard to innovate because there hasn't been much innovation in the presentation of live MMA in the last 2 decades. So for the PFL, our 3 differentiators are our format, regular season, a playoff, and a championship. Number 2, innovation. So we measure athletes' performance real-time, live, and integrate that through different measurements, from first ever to launch strike speed for every punch, every strike thrown. We've measured and integrated that live. And so now that's a new benchmark for the sport, for our athletes. And next year, we're going to be launching kick speed. It's never been done in MMA and at this level. And we also have other fighter tracking. And that data, again, provides context on the fight, provides context on the fighters and how they're measuring up with these type of analytics. And those analytics and that data will serve as an opportunity to continue to monetize PFL IP differently. So think prop bets meets PFL smart cage and cageonomics data. So we're also going to be rolling that out in the 2021 season. So we've been busy continuing to innovate and develop, but going back to it, we have a great team, from Lauren Mack to George Greenberg on content. Dan Ghosh-Roy is our head of digital. Dan played a key role in launching this OTT app with our partner ViewLift. Dan came from the music industry. We didn't want someone that came from the endemic MMA space. We have a lot of that credibility and authenticity within the company. We wanted someone who really built audiences in a different culture, or the culture of music, and how we overlay that into the PFL. So, Dan has the wheel on digital. And then Ray Sefo. Ray is our president of fighter operations. Ray is a 6-time world champion K1 kickboxer. He trains MMA athletes at the highest level, and he's our matchmaker, IDing he and his team, identifying the next generation of great athletes, recruiting top-ranked athletes from other organizations around the world into the PFL. So we absolutely have an all-star team, and which is a big component to our model and our success going forward. And we'll continue to invest in the team.
You've given a glimpse there of some of the new things people can expect in the 2021 season. Anything else? Just give us a little preview. What can fans expect?
No, I mean, what fans can expect from the PFL is continuing to grow our sports season model with expanded events in the regular season, the playoff, and the championship. We'll also be providing additional opportunities for fans with major global special events. And then with respect to content, and bringing it back to this OTT opportunity, it's exclusive, it's free, and fans are actually looking, particularly at this time during this pandemic, to engage, in sports, and not just live, so they can curate their experiences. We have great stars, from Kayla Harrison to programming with Rory McDonald, who is yet to sign with PFL, but he's global star, one of our top-ranked athletes in the world as a welterweight, and he'll make his debut in 21. But in the meantime, Rory's been opening up his locker room, his training room with GSP and his team up in Canada as he trains for next season, because he's absolutely wants to leave his mark not only on the sport, but he wants to bring in his next belt. And it's all about the journey to compete and get through and raise that PFL belt and be awarded with the $1 million payout. So we'll have access to Rory and many other, fighters. Ray Cooper, he's the current champion in the welterweight class. So there'll be some drama there. And then what I should also say as it relates to the PFL app, we own the World Series of Fighting, and it's a great archive of fantastic fights and real notable athletes. So from Justin Gaethje to Marlon Moraes, they're all part of our legacy. We know how to identify and develop stars. To PFL, we're focused on developing those stars and having them compete at a higher level. But going back to World Series of Fighting, I mean, those athletes are tops in the world, and we give fans a glimpse at how their journeys really got started before they made it with their current organization. So we have access to that as well, and more to come. And I'm really excited about micro opportunities. So beyond our archive and our original content, there will be, tied to our business model, there'll be micro transaction opportunities for exclusive content as well as gaming. So we'll be activating that towards the end of this year and certainly into 21.
Sounds like a lot of exciting stuff. Can't wait to watch. Can't wait to interact. Yeah. Thanks very much, Peter Murray, for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. 2021, PFL is going to be back. Can't wait to watch.
Yeah, thank you, Nicholas. Really, really happy to be here, and we look forward to staging events. Obviously in China, it's a growing sport there. Many athletes are at the grassroots level. It's developing, and we're having a number of conversations regarding partnerships there, in addition to events in the coming seasons.
Awesome. Yes. I hope you guys can make it out here one day, and then I can go in person. Las Vegas is pretty far.
Not one day. We will see you soon. And we certainly look forward to hosting you at an event in here in the U.S. or another part of the world. But we'll spend some time together at an event here and absolutely in China.
Yeah, I'll keep my eye on the schedule when you release it, and I'll try and get over to America to watch because, yeah, it looks good. I've watched PFL. Always love watching the programming, and I'd love to be there live. But anyway, yeah, Peter Murray, thanks again, and hopefully we'll speak to you again soon. Cheers.
Yeah, appreciate it, Nicholas. Take care. Stay well.
You too.
Hey guys, Sasha Platnikoff here, letting you know to tune in to SCMP Post-Fight for all your weekly martial arts news.